I'm gonna do that. Okay, I think this is start. It's okay. Yeah, it's recording now. Okay, cool. So, hello.
Hi.
uh, Hi. So this is Saadia, my good friend. We were in the same school. We're in a different grade. We see each other sometimes here and there, and we just say hi in the hallway, and that's about it. But I said, you know what? How about we do an interview? Because, of course, Saudi is a very interesting person with a very interesting religious background, and also from a country that is not really known in Japan, quite sadly. And since I don't know much about you, could you give us an introduction about who you are and some cool points about you?
Okay, so I am Pakistani, but I was born in Pakistan, but I was less than a year old when I moved to Japan with my family, and I lived here for about 4 years or five, 4 years, and then we moved to my whole family. We moved to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and there I lived for 6 years, and I
Hmm.
came back to Japan last year. And I'm a Muslim, practicing Muslim.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Right. Cool. And you mentioned that you're a Muslim person, but what is it like as being Muslim in Japan? Because not many people really know about it, right? What's your
right.
insight?
Okay, so since I was previously in a Muslim country,
Hmm.
I definitely always compare how things are for Muslims here in Japan and in Dubai. I'm gonna refer to refer to United Arab Emirates as Dubai because for some reason people don't call it UAE; they just call it Dubai.
Right.
So Dubai, okay. And it's definitely easier in Dubai because it's a Muslim country. There are many facilities, and because we have to pray 5 times a day, there are
Right.
mosques. That's definitely, we have mosques here in Japan,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's just not as convenient as it is in Dubai.
Hmm.
And people like Japanese people are not really aware of Muslims and basically their religious like customs or whatever events and all that. They're not aware of that. So there's that too. I personally don't really like to mention it a lot because then I have to go on and explain, oh, we have to do that. They're really interested, but
Right.
it's yeah, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
And I just don't bother explaining it. I don't
Uh-huh.
really mention I'm a Muslim. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. So, of course, do people look at you strange or something like? I remember you were talking about that sometime when we met about how, like in Japan, when you say you're Muslim, they go, "Huh, what is that?" Or not like a repelling thing, right? But what do you feel about that? Do you just kind of say, "Okay, I guess this person doesn't understand," or do you feel offended, or what are your feelings with that?
Okay, no, I have not received any negative responses
Hmm. Oh, okay.
here at all. They're always really interested in knowing how it
Hmm.
is. Yeah, no negative. I've never had a negative experience to be very honest, but when I'm
Okay.
praying,
Hmm.
because there aren't prayer rooms here,
Hmm.
I think Tokyo is better than
Hmm.
Nagoya in this case.
Hmm.
So we have to sometimes pray in the parking lot,
Hmm.
sidewalk, near the car, or so we definitely do get stairs, but we just go with it. There's nothing we can really do about it. So
Hmm.
that's the most
Hmm.
I would describe as a negative experience.
Hmm.
Apart from that, not much.
Wow. I'm actually quite surprised. And do you think it would be very good if, the Japanese public were, I don't know how to put it, but like educated, or at least they should know a little bit more about Islam? Do you think that's very important?
I think so because
Right.
it's not that there are many Pakistani people in Japan.
Hmm.
Like the Pakistani community is pretty significant.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people, and that would be really helpful if things were made easier for
Hmm.
us. I
Hmm.
would say, yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. Um, have you ever gotten into like religious arguments with other people from different religions before in Japan? Could be from anywhere, honestly,
Not
but
really.
not
Not
really.
Yeah, not really.
Oh,
No,
interesting.
I don't think I've ever like discussed any of my beliefs with Japanese people.
Hmm.
Yeah, not really. And whenever I have, it's the reaction is always positive. They're just intrigued. They want to know more. But I get surprised actually that they don't know already because I came from Dubai and everyone just knows about it.
Hmm.
So that's yeah, that was surprising.
Oh, wow, interesting. Oh yeah. As a gaijin, right?
Yeah.
Um, do you get like stares and stuff like that, or is there any negative experience or positives even?
Okay, so definitely, like I would say I have had this conflict with myself for a
Hmm.
pretty long time. I just don't know where I belong, like, in terms of my identity.
Hmm.
I can't say I'm from Pakistan because I did not live there.
Hmm.
And I don't really like practice a lot of Pakistani culture. Like, I'm not close with Pakistani culture and all that. But at the same time, I'm not Japanese.
Hmm.
So
Right.
and I'm not from Dubai too, right? Dubai is
Hmm.
very international for
Hmm.
people who don't know.
Right.
So that too, it's just constant conflict when I go to Pakistan. They're like, oh, um, the foreigner, not really foreigner. They just refer to me as like not Japanese really, but the person who comes from outside, immigrant, like
Hmm.
outside, not really
Right.
Pakistani. And
Right.
when I
Right.
come here, I am Pakistani here,
Hmm.
so that's definitely it. And I was gonna say something. Yeah, so I've had experience in my Japanese school too. Like I've
Uh-huh.
gone to a Japanese school, and
Oh, okay.
definitely they're really differentiate. Okay, so the area I live in,
Hmm.
there are not many foreigners here,
Hmm.
and there are many things they like we have to like do, or like just cultural things, and they're not really that accepting of it, and we
Hmm.
have to like sort of force that no, we have to do this and all that.
Hmm.
There's that. And like in fact, when I first, like last year before I came to NIS, I
Hmm.
was in a Japanese school, Jugakko.
Right. Right. Right.
And yeah, there it was when I was fasting, they had to like send me into a different room. Like they did that, and that was really like I was really I would say like I was really like I really appreciated that they would do
Hmm.
that, but it
Hmm.
was sort of new for them too, so I'm not gonna blame them too much.
Hmm.
But I pray 5 times a day, okay?
Wow.
And that was really difficult for
Uh-huh.
me. Like I had to it was in between lessons, and there was no room. It's
Hmm.
definitely better at NIS,
Hmm.
but that was difficult. It's like I have to let them know about all these things that there's
Hmm.
that we have to do, there's that, and it's just sometimes I just like to keep it to myself that I don't want to like bother them.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Right, I see. So I'm glad to hear that your Japanese school actually did really well and respect your personal space and also your religion and beliefs because I remember, I mean, I wasn't religious at the time as a Christian person, right? But it was weird. I mean, Christianity is very, not very common, but it's known, to
Mhm.
exist.
Yeah.
And kids were just, and we don't have any active practices that we do, like in Islam. I don't pray usually. I only pray at church. So whenever I went, they'd be like, "Oh, where are you going?" Or "Why are you going there?" It's a bunch of old people and stuff like that. But I always explain. And of course, like same thing with you is that people were quite enthusiastic to hear why I'm going. And it was good. I think Japan's rather more open, which I was surprised myself as a Japanese person because I feel like Japan could be very, you know, um, I guess exclusive in a way. They could
Hmm.
they could have
Hmm.
their own thing, their own group, and then they don't let you in. I mean, I had that during my Japanese school, which is actually what I wanted to ask you is that in Japanese school, did you have trouble making friends because of how you looked or different language barriers or any sort of barrier? Did you have that?
Actually, no.
Oh,
My
wow.
experience was really, really good.
Hmm.
Um, so the people very friendly.
Hmm.
I believe I was the only foreigner
Hmm.
gaijin in my class.
Hmm.
Actually, no, there were Chinese, a few Chinese, I believe,
Hmm.
and a Korean. But anyway, like in terms of like, oh, you're not from East Asia, right?
Hmm.
Uh, and people, okay, they just really had a positive response. They would keep complimenting, oh, you have such long legs, you look so pretty and all that.
Uh-huh.
They were always complimenting me, and
Right.
the languages, the fact
Hmm.
that I could speak so many languages, that
Hmm.
was really interesting to them,
Right.
and my teachers as well. And they were, I would say, very accommodating. They were
Hmm.
really good to me.
Wow.
So there was definitely language barriers when I
Hmm.
first came here.
Hmm.
I used to speak Japanese when I used to live here when I was young,
Hmm.
6 years ago.
Hmm.
I could speak Japanese, but eventually I forgot, and like it was coming
Right.
back to me.
Hmm.
And I constantly felt that I was like bothering them, asking for help, because I was obviously I was not gonna be able to participate as much as like everyone because of the language barrier. My
Right.
Japanese
Right.
did
Right.
not, yeah, my Japanese was not good. And I only spent 3 months, but I was able to improve so much because of talking with people. And they were so nice. They
Hmm.
would constantly tell me that don't hesitate to ask for help and all that. And my classmates were actually like my friends from Shogakko. They
Hmm.
were so surprised to see me.
Hmm.
They were, so I was friends with them when in my elementary school. And when I came to Chugakko, they were surprised to see me, but they recognized me, and yeah, it was a positive reaction.
Wow.
So yeah, that
I'm
was good.
actually really glad to hear that. I was expecting like, oh my God, it was Thai, it was this and that.
Mm,
Because my friends
actually,
say something
mhm.
else. So yeah, what were we gonna say?
Yeah. No, now, like you said, your friend said something else, right? Say something
Yeah.
else. Most of the Pakistani community live like in a certain area,
Hmm.
like Noseki and Nagoya, like it's usually like in the middle of that, near Nagoya port.
Hmm.
Many
Oh, right,
of
right,
the Pakistani people live there, who
right.
are live in like Aichi. They live there, and we
Okay.
are so far away from them. So whenever there are like Pakistani gatherings and all, we have to travel all the way there,
Hmm.
and their experience is really different from mine,
Hmm.
because there are many Pakistani people in that area.
Hmm.
So Japanese people react to that different. So I'm the only Pakistani, right? So they're
Hmm.
so nice to me and all that, but the things I hear from my dad's and my mom's friends' children, like other Pakistani people,
Right.
um, it's very different.
Right. What do they say about like experiences here?
They say that even though they have lived in Japan ever
Uh-huh.
since they were young, they have
Hmm.
lived here, they never feel like a sense of belonging. They're always
Hmm.
isolated. Japanese people do not befriend them, like not at
Hmm.
all. They can't be in there. Like there's a lot of groupism, right?
Hmm.
And they don't hang out with them or anything. So they feel
Hmm.
that. And yeah, and I was actually surprised to hear that because I did not know that.
Right. So,
Yeah.
do you think it's because like you were the only one there and you were young, so then there is more intrigue about who you are, and then there's like a gathering of Pakistanis, and then like one person is weird, and then that represents the whole group, and of
Mm.
course it's ostracized. So, do you theorize it's like that, or otherwise? What do you think the reasoning?
No, I think, yeah, I would say it is like I really don't know why
Hmm.
Japanese people react
Hmm.
that way with them. I don't know if it's like you said, if it's one person representing the whole community like
Hmm.
badly or anything like that. I really don't know. I don't know
Hmm.
why they because I've never personally experienced that. My dad has actually.
Hmm.
He has lived here like 20 plus years now.
Hmm.
So he definitely has. But personally I have never.
Oh.
Um, yeah.
Oh, interesting. So, well, now as we know, you're here in NIS,
Mhm.
and do you think, well, what's your experience here compared to over there? Is it better, or what do you think?
My Japanese school compared to
Yeah,
my
yeah,
Japanese.
to Japanese school
Oh.
to hear like what's good and what's bad in a way.
Okay, so I joined NIS last year, right?
Right, right, right.
And in the beginning, I because like in my Japanese school, I was really sort of like I didn't want to bother people by telling,
Hmm.
oh, I have to do that.
Hmm.
In the beginning, I did, but eventually there were so many things I had to let them know that I stopped doing that.
Hmm.
So I sort of did the same thing when I first joined, but
Hmm.
actually there were a couple of teachers who actually approached me
Mm-hmm.
because they knew I was Muslim. They approached me instead of I went to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really happy. I was
Mm-hmm.
surprised. And they asked me, oh, do you need a place to pray or whatever you need? We are here to provide. So that
Mm-hmm.
was, I was surprised they knew about like how Islam is, how Muslims like their requirements, like what Muslims do and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised because Japanese people don't know that at all. So
Right.
that was a huge contrast.
Right.
Yeah.
I see. And yeah, I think that's the perk of being in an international school, right? Is that they usually understand what you're looking for, and they usually do the best to make sure that you're accommodated in an area. And yeah, I always like that. I mean, I had kind of the same thing. I mean, again, like experiences are different, as in not experiences, not that's not the right word. The expectations with two religions are completely different, right? Because in Christianity, usually you're just hanging out. You don't have to pray for the day. But in Islam, it's completely different. You have specific meals and specific times. You have to stay up and stuff like that. And you know, I remember because we're in student council, and I remember you brought up the time thing about lunch and how difficult it is for you because you have to pray before lunch and stuff like that. And there is something about that. And do you think did the school ever contact you about that, saying that they wanted, they want to help you with that, or did you have to go to them and say that you're having a problem with lunch or?
So, in the beginning of this year,
Mhm.
like last year, our prayer room was it was occupied. It was the music practice room.
Right, right.
So there we didn't have the East building, right? So it was
Hmm.
only that one room in the music room.
Right, right,
That
right.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like occupied and stuff. So this year
Hmm.
we actually have a permanent like dedicated prayer room, but it's still a music practice room. Sometimes I don't complain too much, honestly. It's definitely not easier than it was in Dubai.
Hmm.
In my school in Dubai, it was an international school, but yeah, it was an international school, and we had a specific prayer room for guys and for girls.
Hmm.
It's not easier, but it's like I feel like Muslim immigrants who don't live in a Muslim country, they
Hmm.
are, I would say, really adjusting. They're
Hmm.
flexible. I wouldn't say they complain too much.
Hmm.
And yeah, I am really happy the school is like accommodating, and they're like, oh, are you okay? And I
Hmm.
just don't want to like keep telling them, oh, it's the if it's like if the room is occupied, I just go to another room. That's not a
Yeah.
huge
Wow.
deal.
I see. I
So
see. And this is going to be a huge question, but what do you think if you were like, I don't know, the leader of the world, right?
okay.
What would you do to solve this religious trouble? What would you do?
Hmm. Okay. Need a moment to think about that.
Yeah.
Never really thought about that. Okay,
Hmm.
firstly, bring this to people's attention.
Hmm.
Not many people are talking about it, and
Hmm.
that's really surprising to me.
Hmm.
Not just, again, it's not just Islamophobia. I
Hmm.
said in the beginning that that's what I feel strongly about, but
Hmm.
other religions as well. But
Hmm.
because Islamophobia is huge, right?
Hmm. It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I said that. But other
Hmm.
religions as well, yeah, I what would I do? Yeah, bring awareness to
Hmm.
this,
Hmm.
right? And and yeah, I don't know, try to bring peace. um
Reese, right.
like try to, like, because there are like countries that have rules, right? And they don't allow people to practice their religions freely. So I would like make sure that they are allowed to practice their religions no matter what it is, like,
Hmm.
freely. That should be
Hmm.
important because France, right, there are many rules
Hmm.
that don't allow Muslims to practice. And
Right.
it's not just now people are, oh, France is against Islam, is Islamophobic. I think it's, I don't really know if people know about it, but it has happened for a very long time. They
Yeah.
don't allow, many schools, universities don't allow their female Muslim students to wear hijab, the scarf. and even the burqa, which is like covering hair, like
Hmm.
covering the face as well, that's not allowed too. And people were questioning this as well. Oh, now it is sort of allowed because people who do wear the hijab and they wear the mask, it's
Hmm.
like burqa, right? Oh wow, so now it's allowed. And there were actually, if you take this matter in a light way, there were memes from the Muslim community that, oh, we're just wearing we don't really have to wear a mask because we're already wearing a burqa. So that sort of acts
Yeah.
as a mask.
Yeah.
And I feel like these laws don't make any sense to me.
Mm.
Why, right?
Yeah.
um because I mean, they again say that, oh, they defend it by saying, oh, there people are not allowed to like show their religion,
Mm.
no religious symbols.
Mm.
And they're saying, oh, it's not just for Muslim, it's like, Christian people as well. But it's not the same.
Mm.
It's not the same. Like, for example, the Christian symbol, right, the
Mm.
cross,
The cross. Yeah.
that's like a fashion accessory,
Mm.
right? But if you
Yeah.
think about it, well, it's at this point, right, it has become a fashion accessory.
Yeah. It
But if
has.
you think about it, well, that should be banned too then, if
Mm.
you're banning all religious symbols,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good argument. Yeah. I mean, because France is predominantly a Christian country,
Hmm.
and the cross has come out as any like many cultural kind of things, and they have their artistic value to it. Like when you're doing something bad while holding the cross, it makes you some, I don't know. Yeah, I don't get that. I think it's pretty stupid in my opinion, but okay, I don't know, I guess it's cool. But yeah, you know what should happen? They should, maybe they should be like, because I know that Islam has like a symbol, right? I'm pretty sure. So then maybe that's it's called going on already, considering the nature. But like this, what are they? A pendant or whatever, and
Uh-huh.
then have the of Islam or something like that. That might be kind of cool. I'm not advocating for it because I mean it's against the law, and the law is the law. So okay, but yeah, I get it. Like it's just unfair, really. And is there any fighting back against it, or is it just completely concrete now? Like,
Okay, so this was brought to my attention because of my friend
uh-huh.
Hatice. She
Oh
came
yeah,
from Belgium, right?
yeah.
So her school actually didn't allow Muslim women to wear the hijab, and I
Mm-hmm.
was so surprised because I knew Islamophobia existed and all, right? Well, they say it's all religious symbols should be banned, but no, they're definitely just targeting Muslims. Um, and I was really surprised. Like, in my opinion, if I thought that if this ever happens in any place,
Mm-hmm.
like it would be banned like really quickly. Like people would just, stand up against it and they would remove. But it's still going on. That's really surprising because I would say that is because I came from Dubai, right?
Mm-hmm.
That maybe that's why this was really surprising because, yeah, I think I was just really surprised how she says that it's like easier to practice,
Right.
being a Muslim in
Mm.
Japan than Belgium. So yeah, that's how I actually got to know about it.
I see. Because I heard someone, and I don't know who it was. This person was going, "Oh, well, we can't do an ID check if they're wearing a hijab or
Mm.
the facial wrappings, right?" And okay, it's kind of fair. I mean, you won't the eyes won't really take you far if you're looking for someone.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like this line that needs to be, like there's a difference between law enforcement and then there's like just complete like unfair enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, I
Like,
think that's
yeah.
unfair because oh, this Belgian kid could literally walk in with a shirt with a cross on it or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but then Hatice or whoever who is Muslim can't wear a hijab. That's a bit strange. And I realize she doesn't wear hijabs in NIS. Does NIS allow that, or does she just not care to, or what do you think? I mean, you're not
It's
her, so
it's
I don't know. But
uh Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak from her behalf, but it's just she has the freedom to choose if she wants to or she doesn't. Same for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think NIS has that any
Oh,
sort of
okay.
restrictions because my friend Hiba, she wears the
Yeah, yeah,
hijab.
she does. She does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So could you explain, like, not the function, but the reason or like yeah, I guess the functionality behind the hijab? Like, is it that you, if you wear it, it's just like more, I guess, conservative? What, like you're along the religion more, and if you're not wearing it, is it considered liberal, or is it just choice, like plain out, flat out choice?
So there is level of modesty
Mm-hmm.
mentioned in Quran, and basically the hijab is that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think modesty, and I would, okay, there's this quote I like. It says that don't tell them you're a Muslim, show them you're a Muslim.
Oh, okay.
um it's you shouldn't be ashamed to be a Muslim, right?
Mm.
Because some people, I they live in a community and environment where they I heard, yeah, I again don't know any person who actually has experienced this, but I like, I research about it online, and they say they had to hide that they were Muslim for so
Mm.
long. And yeah, all sort of that. And it's a definitely no, please, it's not oppression, we are not oppressed,
Mm.
it's our decision. I would say some families, maybe they are, I'm not denying that, but
Yeah.
um yeah, all the people I know, none of them are like oppressed.
Mm.
It's not, hijab is not forced on them.
Mm.
And even Hatija, her parents are not forcing on them.
Mm.
And I, same here.
Right.
I would hope in the future I would.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I would never wear
Mm-hmm.
it, but I will, if when when I'm comfortable, I really understand it. And I think, again, I would say I'm not the perfect person who should represent
Mm-hmm.
Islam. I need to do my research, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I need to study. I actually know a lot. It's not that I don't know.
Mm.
And yeah, I
Mm.
don't think it should be forced,
Mm-hmm.
but it's, yeah, definitely shows a level. Again, it's their opinion, right? You can't stop. If someone wants to cover I don't know, their shoulders or like their arms or something, you can't
Right.
stop them. They're like, oh, you can't do that. why
Mm.
why would you want to stop them? It's, they feel modest that way. That's
Mm.
their level of modesty, right?
Mm. Right.
Yeah, I consider the hijab in the same way. It doesn't make sense to me if, like, if people are, if they want to cover because because they want to be modest, and their level of modesty, right? Why are we judging people's level of modesty?
Mm. Right. It makes sense.